Good
Well,
morning.
good morning. Welcome, everyone. So, very privileged to have Jordan Knight join us today for a discussion around everything LinkedIn. And so, Jordan, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and what got you into LinkedIn lead generation?
So I've been in marketing for over 10 years now. I've done a bit of everything, business development, marketing strategy, social media, and also LinkedIn. And I thought that providing leads from LinkedIn has been massively helpful for companies over the last few years. So I've started my own to help other companies.
Fantastic. So that marketing background will certainly help. And so, what are the? I'm just curious to know. Like a lot of people like to post stuff on LinkedIn, and you'll hear advice left, right, and center that you're supposed to just post consistently, and that's the magic secret to getting lots and lots of people to follow you and all that. But I have seen people, including myself, post and post and post and post and then get no engagement, right? So what are you seeing in the marketplace at the moment as far as LinkedIn social posting goes?
So that's a funny one. I've tested it out on mine, I've tested it out on my clients, and it needs a mix of two different things of the tips and tricks of your industry to let people know that you are an expert in your industry and to give them just a little bit, enough for them to be like, they know what they're doing. Let me go and ask them a question. So that's one side. And the other side would be the personal ones. People love to see what you've been up to on holiday, your family, your dogs. My God, if you've got a dog, post a photo. It gets the most interaction. So they want to know who they're going to work with if they were to hire you. And they also want to know that you know what you're doing.
Yeah, so there's the human element plus the expertise element, and yeah, it's kind of funny because LinkedIn is becoming like the Facebook of professionals, where you do get a little bit of a blend of both, and I have noticed that same trend about people yeah, posting their holiday photos or their pets and their children, and they always link it back to their professional lives, don't they?
Definitely. They're going, oh, thank you for that mental health holiday. I needed this, or I can work while I'm away. I think people are on a different mindset when they're on LinkedIn to Facebook and Instagram. They're more professional. I'll let my colleagues know what I'm doing rather than I'll let my friends know what I'm doing, which would be a different post.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Cool. So, what about LinkedIn lead generation? So, I know for myself personally, like as a sales professional, I've ever since I've been in sales, I've been using LinkedIn as a way of doing outreach. So, what have you seen in the direct outreach space?
So I've noticed that people stop responding when you send them just an automated message. They just stop. So I would say make it more personal, pick out something on their profile that a robot wouldn't be able to pick out. Look at their history, go, oh, you've been in marketing for 12 years. That's amazing. You must enjoy it. Just something small, or even a post that they've liked, and you've gone, oh, we've liked the same thing. That's great. Something small, something human. But then also, you can do that automated sending out the message requests. But I would suggest from there on, you take it back to being a personalized message.
Yeah, absolutely. You've touched on a few important points there. One is not coming across like a robot. I mean, LinkedIn explicitly prohibits automation on its platform already. So if you're using one, don't. And then the second thing is if you are sending messages manually, I actually just heard a story this morning about someone who was literally copying and pasting, manually, but then they got flagged as a robot anyway. So so you have to be careful, right? Don't come across like a robot, otherwise LinkedIn's going to think you are one. And the way that you do that is by being more personal, but also you identified something that I talk about quite a lot, which is finding a point of commonality. Anecdotally, I had one person respond to me saying, "Hey, yeah, let's catch up. I noticed that we went to the same school." And well, sure,
The world.
what's going on? So yeah, whatever you can find that you have in common with the other person, that's a really great way to make a human connection with people, isn't it?
100%. And they'll take that a lot better as well than going, how do we know each other? We don't have any mutual friends. You're like, well, I don't think I should add you because there's no point. You
Yeah,
want to tie them together.
exactly, exactly. Cool. All right. So I'm sure a lot of people are thinking right now, they've tried doing it themselves, like they're doing the outreach or the social posting, but they haven't gotten the results, right? So should they keep trying it themselves, or should they get a vendor to like yourself to help them with that?
Definitely give it a go. There's tips and tricks always on YouTube and things, but if you do want to make progress quicker, then definitely outsource it to someone that's been on LinkedIn for years. They know what people are looking for, who to target, who you want to work with. Get that future client that you've targeted specifically, not just random people that have added you. So it makes a difference to how you're using LinkedIn. Go first.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
play around and see where it goes.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But on that same token, I have also heard a lot of stories of people trying out, certain companies to do these outreach for them, but they don't get the results. I'm just curious to know what do you think? What do you think are the missing components? Like when these other companies are running it for them, what are they missing that's making the campaigns not work?
It could be that personal approach. If they're not engaging with the other person's profile, you're viewing the profile, you're liking their posts, you're commenting on their posts, making it more engaging and bringing them back to your profile is very important for them to be like, okay, cool, I can now click on their website, see what they do. But it's a whole strategy that goes behind bringing them back.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really great point, right? It's about being holistic, thinking in detail as to, okay, so once they respond, what is our next step, and what's the step after that, and so forth, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not just, oh, I'll just try this and see if it works. Like, there's definitely a process that would work better.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully you're not the guinea pig for the company to test out their techniques. You want to work with someone who has been doing it for a while and yeah, it has a strategic outlook as opposed to just let's experiment with your account and with your 15 whatever amount that they're spending per month.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Um, there's also another consideration. Like a lot of people, like they try to do it themselves, and I've seen some people, they get their own VA to run these campaigns themselves. So what are the pros and cons to doing it yourself with a VA?
So a VA, the cost is a lot, I would say, for a VA that you'd have to train as well. So the cost starts at usually 1,300 a month. And then you've got to train them, you've got to get them to know your company, and that might take a month already to get them used to it. Whereas if you have someone that knows what they're doing, they'll just need a few points about your company just to get it going, and it's good from week one. So in comparison, the time to get someone used to it, to knowing what you're doing, is a different side of things.
Yeah, 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 and that's for a half time. Like my understanding is that the 1,300 is for a half time resource, isn't it? It's not a full time.
Yeah. So I mean, you got
Yeah.
to make sure they know the hours. You got to, otherwise, with someone like myself, you can contact me pretty much any time of the day, and I'll be there to help you. Tell you what your leads you're getting and everything like that.
Yeah,
So
so there's the reporting and the tweaking of the campaign as you go along, isn't it?
definitely, and I let everyone know exactly what's going on pretty much every other day. I'm in contact with my clients, going, hey, okay, this lead wants to contact you. Hey, they've booked in a Calendly meeting. Awesome.
Nice, nice.
Wins and the losses you got to be enthusiastic about.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right. So in terms of the segments, I'll delete what I'm saying right now. But now you asked me some questions about the sales process afterwards.
Perfect.
Yeah. So just the last question. Don't worry about the other ones because we kind of covered it already.
Okay. So Ben, for you, what is the sales process after the lead generation from LinkedIn?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen with leads generated from LinkedIn is that they they just send an email, right? So that means that someone has expressed some sort of interest, but if you engage on just the email platform, there's no quality in that interaction. Like they can't get to know you, they can't see your face. It's just words on an email. So what we really need to do to get that follow through is to personalize the interaction by inviting them to a meeting. So one of the things that I often hear works with LinkedIn campaigns is offering something of value in exchange for the person's time. And that means that whether they do business with you or not, you are educating them, you're helping them, they put that stuff into practice, they get some sort of massive value. That looks really good on you and it makes it worth their time. So if you're asking, for example, for half an hour, make it worth their half an hour. Time is money, right? And they've got 100 other things that they could be doing. What are you going to give them that's going to really make it worth their while? So once you get to that point, so the first thing that I would say is just go for the meeting. Don't just interact on email. Book a time to chat, even if it's just on a Zoom call, right? And then the second step from there is to really focus on asking lots of questions in the first meeting. So let's just say you've spent the first 5 minutes building rapport. You spend about 10 minutes sharing whatever valuable information that you have with them. And then you spend the rest of the time asking questions to figure out what are the gaps that they're suffering, what are the goals that they want to achieve. And then after this initial meeting, then you book another chat to talk about your services. So the big mistake that a lot of people make is that they go into selling mode straight away, right? So oh yes, I've got you in a meeting. Now I'm going to tell you all about our product and how great we are, as opposed to making it client centric. So finding out about what your challenges are and then only talking about the product at a later stage.
Yeah. What sort of percentage would you say that is talking about yourself as to asking questions?
Yeah. Well, for the first meeting, you talk very, very little about yourself. I often reserve literally 5 minutes at the end of the meeting to talk about myself because at that point they feel a little bit guilty. Oh, you've been such a good listener, Ben. Maybe can you tell me a little bit about what you do? Or I might have a little bit as an introduction at the beginning just to set the context for the conversation. But really, and this really flips the script for a lot of salespeople, right? They rather than talking about yourself, you focus on the client. At the last 5 minutes, you talk about yourself, and then you have the logistics of the next meeting. So once you book the second meeting, you've earned the right to talk about yourself a bit more. So that's where the ratio flips. And here's the funny thing: even when you are still talking about yourself, so at this next sales meeting, even though you are talking about yourself, you still are framing it in terms of what it means for your client. So you may say that uh, I've been running this business for 10 years. What this means for you is that I am not just trying this stuff out and experimenting. I know what I'm doing. And you can rest assured that the results that you're going to get are what I'm promising. So you're always reframing things in terms of what's in it for the client.
100%. I think that's very important, especially in the first meeting. You don't just go in and pitch. They'll just kind of back off a little bit from that conversation. It definitely needs to be about them.
There's a great saying from this networking group that I'm a member of. So it's called Fresh Networking. That's a shameless plug. If you sell, you will repel, right? But what they're referring to is the pushy sales agenda, right? So the modern version of selling is all about asking questions, relationship building, consultative selling. So that's the big difference.
100%. People buy from people. And I feel like people are just realizing that, you need to build a relationship first before you just go straight in.
Yeah, absolutely. there probably was a time long ago that people were a lot more trusting, and they just took people's word for it because people actually had integrity, once upon a time. But things have changed, right? So now people are they're sick and tired of being ripped off, and so their skepticism and their sales resistance is a lot higher. So if we want to break those barriers down, we got to show that we're not desperate and that we're all about the other person.
Definitely. 100%, I agree with that. And people always get like, yep, I've had this person do this in the past and this has happened. You're like, I am really sorry that happened. I will be doing this to rectify that. From a
Yeah,
past
yeah.
person that you've dealt with that now I have to fix because I
Oh
don't
dear,
trust
yes,
anyone
yes.
anymore.
Actually, one of the interesting things that I ask of people is, okay, so you've done LinkedIn outreach in the past and it hasn't worked. How about you send me the scripts and I'll tell you exactly why it didn't work. And invariably, what comes up is they have that email that says, "Hi, John, we are the best web design company. Are you looking to build a website?" It's so direct, and they'll have blocks and blocks of text about how great they are and all of the companies they've worked with and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it usually becomes pretty obvious why previous campaigns haven't worked.
100%. Yeah, you need something in between. How's your week going? How's the weather? It doesn't need to be much. It just needs to be a question about them.
Yeah, exactly. Just be a little bit curious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, Cool. All right. So we've covered a lot of ground today, and I'm sure the viewers will be wondering, how can I engage with Jordan for LinkedIn outreach services? So Jordan, how should they reach out to you for a strategy session?
Definitely. So I'm giving away a strategy session to anyone that needs some help with their LinkedIn. So my company is called Spicy Pineapple Marketing, and I'll have a link below as well, so you can find my website, and it'll have my email address and phone number. I am very happy for you to call or text. To be honest, I respond anyway. How about you?
Fantastic.
What's the
Yeah.
best way for
So
people to get in contact
yeah,
with you?
sure. So for me, look, if you're looking to increase your conversion rate, so if you're running marketing campaigns, whether it's on Google AdWords or on LinkedIn, and you find that maybe 1 in 10 are buying, your ratio really should be 20, 30%. So yeah, feel free to reach out to me on the link below. Again, strategy session, we will focus in on your challenges and we'll put together a plan on how we can help you. And then, like we've talked about today, it's all value up front. And then if there's an opportunity to work together, we can book another appointment to actually go through our programs to see if we can help you. So yeah, feel free to take us, either of us, up on that offer, or maybe both. Maybe you want to run a campaign with Jordan, and then you want to convert more of those leads with me. The links are below. Book a chat. More than happy to add tons of value for you, and we'll explore if it's worth working together.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. See ya.